panel discussion. We will start with
Excuse
introduction.
me, do you see this sound problem, or I only face it? Only me?
A sound problem?
Maybe you have two open browsers.
Have echo, yeah? Or
It's fine for me.
It's fine for me as well.
it's okay also. So Karol was telling that the in terms of time increasing, you need much more time than like two times more than 10 times more to create these new games, and it takes one Eugene to create the new game, and he already began to create the game because he has limited time. Yeah. So can you please continue, Karol, because we need to change the links.
Yeah, sure. So I mean, the complexity grows, so you need more time. You need more people. So managing more people is a completely different beast, like purely from like management perspective. So there's a lot of details that you can like miss or like be even unaware that make this significantly more challenging. So and when the process takes longer, like the feedback loop is longer, so it takes longer for you to learn. So I mean, we've had from our perspective, it takes usually 2 months to get like initial idea whether it's worth pursuing the prototype that we're making, and then usually, I mean, if we get initial good signs, like usually takes us additional 2, 3, or even 4 months to get to some point that we are okay to scale the game, or we are okay to kill it. So one of the ways we mitigate this problem is that we started working with a couple of publishers in a way that, I mean, we work on the games directly with them, and it's not anymore that we work on our own original ideas, but we, at least in the beginning, at the ideation phase, we ideate together with the publisher. So we are taking the inputs from the publisher side, and we are leveraging their knowledge about the market, because publisher has a big advantage here compared to the developer, because you as a developer, you have like, I don't know, 1, 2, 3. We are like moderate studio. We have 5 or 6 projects going on because we have 50 developers on board. But like publisher has like 200, so they see, they are like the general on the battle, and they see the whole battlefield. You're like the soldier on the front lines. you just see the blood and nothing else. So they can guide you, and they can tell you like, look, don't go there. The chances of survival maybe are better if you go this way. So, and we took this strategy, and it paid off, because we are handling the top of the funnel. The risk is like mitigated. So basically it means that we are starting with ideas that have at least some level of marketability tested, right? So we go into the game design directly, which is what we are born to do. This is our expertise. So that's how we this. I mean, through this approach, we managed to like have. I mean, we didn't release anything yet besides the Apple Arcade games, but those are like quite a different stories. But like we have something that's really looking really good, starting to look really good. So that's one way how we approach this problem.
Thank you, Karol. Because we see also this. It's easier to work with developers directly. You just like help them in any possible aspect. You guide them a little bit. You add extra expertise, and then together you grow up. So you asking like for external people who will update or see the vision you gave your expertise, and then you grow up together. So it's become not like you create a lot of things and then go to publishers and they take this. You create like one or two things with which you're ready to go for some period and update it, and then like continuously do the testing and then kill it only after like 3-4 months, because otherwise you can miss the amazing potential, and it will be like really bad. So we were talking with Eugene previously, and also there is not even mentioning about Unity and how they like put a lot of salt into this already.
Exactly.
Not easy soup.
Yeah.
So maybe just roughly, how was this news for you? We're still talking about them, like everyone talking. So do you see impact, or it's like just gone through?
You mean about the runtime fee from Unity?
Yeah.
So I mean, should I go or?
You can, but maybe it's like quick question. So just like a few sentences, if possible, everyone, please.
So for the first version, I was completely enraged. I'll be honest with you, and you can check my Twitter feed. So I do the calculations. So for some of our hyper casual games would be, I mean, we'd have to kill them instantly because we'd be paying them more than we are generating revenues. I mean, it was completely, I don't know, they were completely out of their mind. So the 2% fee, I mean, I think it's okay. I mean, we can live with that. So I mean, obviously it sucks, but like it doesn't like, it doesn't put us out of the business. So I think it's bearable.
Please, Egehan.
Yeah. I think the first pricing they announced was a little bit outrageous, I'd say, at least. But current pricing is also fine for me. I think it's a fair pricing model. It's not the best one, I'd say. It's not the ideal one, but it's a fair model. So I'm fine with it. And I think the industry is also fine with it as well. But I also believe that everyone is now a little bit not so sure about using Unity for all of their projects, and a little bit open to other engines as well.
Yeah. Alireza, how do you see it? You're using...
Yeah, I agree with the other guys. The first plan that Unity published was we knew for sure that they are going to change it because it was so bad that all of the social media was full of posts about that Unity change of plan. But the current plan, I think we are okay with it.
Eugene, how do you see
about Unity? But for example, you can use old version, and a lot of guys told about this, and also publishers like. It will be one of the most long-living version of Unity ever. Yes, because if you have some live projects and so on, so yes, you shouldn't update it. And but it's also temporary decision because all the time you have a lot of updates of some SDKs, some technologies, and maybe one small thing could change this situation, and for example you will be not able to use this old version, and you will be forced to move to the new. So we're still using the old version. Yes, turn off the page.
I can add one thing regarding Unity, and it's not about the pricing. I mean, I think it's I think there's like a degradation of like how they support the features and like how stability of the engine. I mean, we are unfortunate to be using dots on a game that's in production, and I can tell you, I mean, don't do it. I mean, it's the single biggest source of problems. And to add insult to injury, I recently because it's an Apple Arcade game, and Apple is introducing new platform, the Vision OS, and obviously we'd like to port our games there. But the Unity, I mean, is not even planning to add support to dots for Vision OS. They are considering it, and it's like, and in terms of roadmap, it means it's beyond 2025. So I mean, we are super pissed about that, because, like, dots was one of the mostly highly advertised features of the engine, and now they are like reluctant to even support it. I'm not saying about bugs, like.
Thank you.
I could go on for hours.
Yeah, I hope, like, after this mentioning which Eugene done, Unity will not downgrade old versions because it will be raging. But we still have these situations like with Disney and etc., which was not really a long time ago. So we like constantly refreshing with crazy and good like. Introductions from the media. So how does in this case the engagement and monetization strategy different like in new hybrid casual games comparing just to hyper casual games from your perspective? Can you mention in it? We can start with Eugene.
Okay. Okay. The main thing, I thought about this question, and the main thing is it depends on game to game. Like literally, for example, engagement and monetization strategy, it depends on game to game and not even from genre to genre, because every game is unique. And for example, all the things can be unique. For example, one feature, for example, meta game could be great in one game and not work in other. And also, in my experience, we saw that, and you don't understand what you're doing wrong. Like that's also the problem of the whole market. Like to find hit, to release a hit is a very hard way of finding, of searching, of exploration, and you need to find these great to make it like a Lego from correct pieces. Great product, and so it's very unique from game to game, I guess. Overall, of course, hybrid casual games are more complex than just hyper casual. So with meta, with higher depths of gameplay, so and so on, and more features, more code, like something like this, more technically complex product. But in general, it depends from game to game.
And it takes much
In my
more time.
experience.
Yeah. Also, you can add extra, like how do you using it, and maybe how the AI impact this, because right now it's booming, and so yeah, if you're using some interesting things, you can also add, Eugene, or we can go to the next panelist.
To be honest, we're not using some AI tools like on the rails, like something a good working solution which you can put on the rails and use it and scale it, and something like this, which will help you to optimize your development or monetization. But we're looking on these things, like asking ChatGPT for sometimes. When will we release the hit? Tell me.
Yeah. Nice,
Something like
nice.
this.
It's how it should be done. Egehan, can you please mention from your perspective, and maybe how do you do it and how AI impacts it?
Excuse me, Egehan, you're muted.
Yeah.
Did you ask specifically for monetization or in general for game development?
In terms of monetization, but also AI in general, I think more.
To be honest, the SDKs and third-party applications that integrate use some sort of artificial intelligence that I'm not very knowledgeable about. But other than that, we are not using any AI tool for monetization. In general, for hybrid casual games, I can say for monetization that it is providing more opportunities for developers to be creative with how to approach their users and how to make offers to their users and how to make interactions be valuable for them in terms of money. We can be more creative compared to hyper casual. So I think we will be seeing some improvements, hopefully, for better user experiences with more regulation. On the other side to answer the artificial intelligence side of your question, we have been using ChatGPT like everyone else, and other than that, we are not implementing any artificial intelligence produced content in our games.
Thank you. Karol, can you please, from your perspective?
Yeah, so I mean, the monetization strategy, like the core of the monetization strategy difference is that we are moving from monetizing mostly through ads and like mostly through interstitial ads, like we did in hyper casual, to like more rewarded videos and in-app purchases, which means that we need to build games that have like higher D7, because if you wanted to get a shot at in-app monetization, you need to have like better longer term or mid-term retention. But there's also a interesting side effect, which makes things even more complex, is that when you did a hyper casual game and when you saw that you have like a decent retention, or even like when you're working with Supersonic, they are using this metric that they call APPU. So it's a aggregated playtime per user. So like D7 APPU means like how much time users spend in game during the first 7 days. So I mean, and this metric for hyper casual, it's like it was nicely correlated with your revenue, because you were monetizing the game with interstitials. So like the longer the player are in the game, the more interstitials they see, and there's like very nice correlation between that and your LTV. So, but with hybrid, that's not the case, because they can be playing, but they cannot be not engaging with rewarded videos or with in-app purchases. And the worst case scenario, they can be completely blind to it. So, and the consequence of that is that you may have a game with decent retention, but it's like and completely failed, when you start to scale. So, and with hyper casual, it meant like basically it meant you had a hit game, right? So I mean, it was like rarely. I mean, it could go bad during scaling, the CPI could go wrong or something like that. But like you had like the monetization side secured when you had good retention. So that's not the case here, and you have to put more effort into figuring out that the monetization loops that they are significant. That you have good monetization opportunities, that they are something that players want and that they won't be blind to it. So I mean, that's like a completely different story. Yeah, I mean, it really, I mean, I think it really pays off when you're working with a publisher that like knows already this process. They can especially when you're like moving from hyper, they can usually help you with that. They can help you with setting up the analytics. They can share their knowledge. I mean, it's when you're starting your first project. I mean, it's hard to get even the baseline KPIs. I mean, it's hard to gauge like what good looks like, right? So because you never done it. So I mean, and in our case, it helped us like when we in the past, usually we were working with publishers, so we have a lot of good relationships, and this helped us transition to that. We had a lot of support from them from their side to help us understand what good looks like what the baseline KPIs should be, what are the nuances and all that stuff. So I mean, if you're transitioning into that, I mean, and I'm speaking to like all the people that are listening, I mean, I think you should consider doing that. I don't think you should be doing this on your own. It's really hard.
Thank you. From monetization perspective, that's a good point. And also about AI, you don't mention it, so maybe.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. We're not using it. I think it's kind of like I'm getting vibes from the blockchain, hype, kind of. I don't know. I mean, when you're reading, people that are much smarter than you, I think there's something to it, and probably someday AI will take over the world eventually. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure we are there yet.
Yeah, not yet, but still maybe soon, because they grow so rapidly. Alireza, please, from your perspective, maybe you also have some interesting changes in the monetization adaptation, because as you mentioned, it can take much more time to create the game. So a lot of this time can go just to integrate these variations of monetization. So yeah, if you can please mention.
Yeah, when we made hyper casual games, we one of the most KPIs that most important KPIs that we paid attention to was, of course, day one retention. But because we wanted to bombard the users with so many ads, and that was how we made the money. But when we started to create hybrid casual games, we value the players more and think of the players as more as long-term users. And we try to plan for each of the steps that the players are taking. For example, we want the players to reach a certain point in the game. For example, in the fifth day of engagement, and we design the game so that they can reach that certain in that time. And also we value each of the resources based on the time that the player should spend to get that resource, and try to balance these numbers so that, for example, if the player can get a resource by watching an ad, how much does it how much the value is, and if the player buys that resource, how much time are they saving. And this was our strategy in engagement and monetization. And about AI, we are not also using any AI tool, but I think I don't know. I agree with the other guys. I don't know when the AI will take the world.
Well, maybe it's already, and Skynet is already controlling everything, so nobody knows. So from this perspective, let's go to the next question, and it's about do you see some insights on the market trends, and how the players preferences have influences the development strategies of your companies? So we can start with Egehan.
I'll just say briefly that I think one thing that I'm certain is that I think the user experience expectations will actually continue their path. They will continue expecting better games in terms of how engaging they are, how immersive they are, and how beautiful they are. So I think we will see that trend growing in strength in the next year. That's one thing I'm certain. Other than that, I'm not very sure about what we will be seeing, and I'm really curious what others will also say.
Yeah, thank you. It's also like this, but still creepypasta survives and it's growing up, and you just don't understand how it still can be there. This creepy stuff, which is it's other question, but still also this. Have you seen about these cameramans and etc.? The hype of this trend train is pretty rough, because sometimes you can get into the first first ticket to this journey, but sometimes you just run in behind the train and it's useless because you're running on your legs. Like even on the car, it's hard to catch with fast train. Alireza, how do you see this? Maybe you also can predict some trends, or how do you worked with these trends, or you just concentrating on the main idea which you have into game and just can update a little bit by some trends, not fully change the way of what you're doing?
Actually, we are not. We think that market outlook is not that bright currently because we don't see that much new games in the top chart, and the games can't get that much market share, and also there is not enough investment, I think, in the market. And I think that market is actually going towards consolidation, and big companies are surviving, and they're buying other small or big companies, and small companies are dying actually. But I think transitioning to hybrid casual games for small studios and for hyper casual game studios is a must, so that they can survive in this environment. And I think the market is thirsty for new content and new trends and new mechanics, so that hybrid casual that is new and hasn't used its full potential can be the right strategy to follow, I think.
Thank you. Eugene, how do you see? Maybe you also implemented some new trends?
Not in the last time, but all our attempts to use short-time trends was a tremendous fails. And as mentioned, Alireza, is also understandable that market is consolidating, and it's better to invest to long-time trends. For example, to cooperate with some brands, some IPs together, because it will give you possibility to acquire a huge user base in this hard for marketing market. So it will help you to acquire some loyal audience and to extend it and to build some strong product, maybe which even can take noticeable market share, for example. But with the short-term trends, I don't know. I don't have successful stories, and also I've heard stories from other guys, and there are some successful stories, but in the end it sounds like, but our Google Play account was terminated, for example, if you use some short-term trends in a hot phase, for especially it happens all the time and very often. So your choice what to do.
Yeah.
Yes. So what going to build, like some more stronger business model, or maybe some short-time trend opportunity, something like this.
Thank you. Also, the Monopoly Go, which was like also built it on IP, and it has the numbers as good as the Pokemon Go, but still like in 2 times shorter period of time. So we see right now that the strong IPs gives you really strong boost, and that's really interesting. Karol, maybe you also can add to this trend train something.
Yeah, I mean, I think you covered pretty much already. So maybe I'll just reinforce what you guys already said. I mean, I'm not a big fan of following the trends, like, I don't know, like skibidi toilet trend or something wild like that, because I respect the people that do that and do that, skillfully. But like, to me, it's like gambling. It's like, I don't think it's a real business. It's like, it's like going in the casino. Maybe you will be lucky and then you're gonna ride the wave, or usually it's other way around. So we tend to like build, on something that's more predictable. Yeah, unpredictability with the trends. That's what puts us off. I mean, what I see is that what you guys already said. I mean, I think we are in a red market, like where big companies tend to build on already existing foundation. Like take for example bot control, like what Voodoo did with it, like by adding more meta systems and if you look at the like charts from data AI and how they are monetizing, like you will see that what they did, like they really improved the monetization on that game, and but they took something that was already working, like already proven by the market. So, and I see a lot of strategies like that, and not necessarily taking an existing game, but like building a new game that is heavily inspired by some existing games that's already proven in some way. So, but on the other hand, I mean, and I also saw like the trend with the IPs, and but this is another sign of like this market, the competition getting higher. So like you try to outrun the competition by like leveraging your assets or like leveraging IPs. I mean, it's a clear sign that like the competition is fierce. But on the other hand, I'm quite hopeful because we're in the mobile for 11 years now, and I've seen a couple cycles like this. I mean, and I mean it's like it's the same thing as in the economy in general, right? So I mean, and it comes down from like I don't know, from our psychology, I think, like because people trends, like it all comes from people. Like people get hyped by something, that then they get bored and they figure something new, and that's how those cycles appear. There are also generational shifts. So like when the young generation gets their credit cards, like we might be doing different games than we are doing right now. So I think I don't think it's gonna last like in this way. There's gotta be a change, but I'm far from comfortable to predicting what it's going to be. I rather try to build my company to be as agile and as flexible as possible to adapt to those new changes. So I mean, this is our strategy, just to be alert and just to spot those like no, I mean not trends like like YouTube trends, but like new business models, like new like new genres, like new ways of doing business. So this is our strategy from the company side, and I mean it worked for up until now, so I'm hoping it's gonna work for the next 11 years.
For sure.
Fingers
It's
crossed.
definitely because as you mentioned, even in the name of our panel, like transformation is always like something changing, but still going to something which was popular previously, and it's like changing in the changing of the changing. So yeah, kind of this. If you guys have some questions, our viewers, so please, you have 5 minutes to do these questions. Otherwise, we're gonna do the best question in the world, like what is your predictions for the future? Yeah. So we will wait for 10 seconds. You have 20 seconds to add the questions. If no, let's start.
Excuse me. I also wanted to mention that as Karol said about that we'll never have some opportunities in the future, and also, for example, why you should join for example strong IPs, existing IPs, to build strong marketing, because in all times there was very small quantity of sources of content consumption, for example TV, and that's all. A bit later TV and VHS, for example, yes, and you can't acquire such huge core, like literary core user base, like Donald Duck, for example, yes, like Disney IPs, because they're very old and they acquired these minds when there was a very low quantity of sources. Now there are a lot of sources, and a lot of small IPs like will never acquire such a lot of users, but for Fortnite still happens.
Yes. So you can still do Flappy Bird, but still you cannot overcome with this like some.
But it's like a
crazy...
jackpot in the lottery.
we have one question for who you do not mention, but we see the Monopoly Go from Scopely spending instantaneously high on UI spend. How are they able to make this money without any in-app purchases, in-app advertising? How can in-app make up for the entire monetization funnel? It can, who you need to, who want to answer this question, because I also can, but please choose, guys, who want. I can double that to the chat and you can see it. So who want to answer this question? Like about the Monopoly Go, how they do not use in advertisement, because like in-apps are power and some games built only on in-apps, they don't need, so please, guys.
I think you should answer it. I'm curious.
Me
Yeah,
too.
like
Me too,
there
curious.
is
You started like you were going to reply and you stopped, and now I'm curious.
Yeah.
It's just interesting because some games have different strategies on monetization, and it depends on the game, on how it goes, and with time it can change from only advertising to in-apps. But the best is to be like sustainable and to create the model in which you have a little amount of in-apps, but still you have small, bigger amount of advertisement. But depending on the market, you can change it. It's hard because core auditory will be just into the first model, but still you can update it if the game is really worth it, so you can work with it. But not all games can do it, so it depends from the very beginning of your game how you structured it. And I think in Monopoly Go situation, they just build the game to be optimized for in-apps, and that's why they do not use a lot of advertisement, but they still can update it after. And that's what we can see in Hearthstone. They just implemented a small system, and now they updating it like crazy. They have 5 in-games markets in which you can buy. So yeah, please update this answer, guys.
Yeah, maybe I can add like a twist here, because I was asking myself a similar question, like when hyper casual was starting, like the hyper casual craze was starting. I was asking myself, how can you make money from a game that's monetized only with ads? This is what was curious for me back in the day, because when you think about it, like there's no new money coming into the system, because you're advertising through ads and then you're monetizing through ads, and the ad money is constantly flowing. So I mean, for the system to work, there needs to be in-app purchases, there need to be users that are doing the input in the system. This is like, I mean, it's vital for the whole free-to-play economy to have like those in-app purchases. And the obvious answer was there were some games that did this pretty well, and they were like feeding the rest of us. So I mean, it's interesting to see a question like that, yeah, because it's a completely risk. But yeah, it's obviously, I mean, I think the answer is that you can make way more from in-app purchases, because like from ads you're making cents, dollars if you're lucky, but like from in-apps, I mean, it's not uncommon to have users that spend hundreds of dollars. I was surprised I mean, I guess a lot of developers can share that story, but like for one game, we added an in-app purchase for a skin pack. That was like, we thought it was outrageously pricey because it was $100 to get all the skins. And you know what? That was the most profitable in-app purchase from the whole game. And the thing is, I mean, there wasn't that many people that bought it, but like it was expensive, so we didn't need to have a lot of people buying it. We just need to have a few, to make the difference. So I mean, that's the difference in scale, right? So you don't need that many users buying in-app purchases because they are more expensive.
They're more powerful, guys. Egehan, Alireza, Eugene, you want to add something, because we have like small minutes, and also like let's do the photo after, and and this
Okay.
panel was really limited in
Excuse
time.
me. Yes, I also agree with Karol, and the thing that he mentioned about ads explains why ad networks are the hugest companies in game markets. So they earn more money than publishers, than developers, than engine developers, and so on, because this body of check goes to the ad network. So ad networks earns a lot of money, and from all the studios, and from the business model they have more strong
Sustainability.
business model, more predictable. Yes. So
Egehan,
that's why.
Alireza, please add a little bit as we need to finish up.
I don't have much to add, but Karol's twist actually inspired me to think about that. When you look at it, almost entire businesses rely on that method. You give an ad and hope that people come in and buy your stuff. So it's a similar strategy. So I don't think it's really strange to see, but I'd say it's strange to see that when you can use ads, why not use it? What's the
Yes.
difference? What's negative of using ads? I think that's an interesting question, and I'm also curious about it, but I have no answer for it as well.
I have answer. I will message you after. Yeah. So Alireza, can you please also add?
Yeah, of course. I agree with the other guys, and I think the hyper casual business model was based on ads, and it worked for lots of studios, lots of publishers, and mostly the ad networkers. And but I actually like the IAP model more because you know for sure that the players enjoy your game more. Uh, they're not just some users that are playing and you force them to see ads. Uh, yeah, but hyper casual work that way, and other genre work with IAP. Both of them worked. So yeah, I think yeah, both business models work. Yeah.
Thank you, Alireza. Thank you, guys, for
I
being.
I can have very short answer for why they might have did it this way, and I usually answer those questions. There's a simple and universal answer. Probably because they tested it.
Yeah. That's how it works. Let's make maybe a quick screenshot photo of our panel discussion, and just quickly smiling face, and to give the people more energy, and then some footwork after. Oh yeah. So yeah, thank you guys for participating in this panel, and I hope that it was really good for our listeners. It was nice to see you, and thank you for being part of this. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Hit Games.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. This was a great and insightful and inspirational panel. Thank you for our guests, and thank you for our panelists, and thank you for attending and watching us. I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude for each and every one of you. Thank you for being an integral part of this virtual gathering, for your enthusiasm, engagement, and for contributing vibrant discussions that made this conference truly exceptional. As we conclude this, please take this energy and put it into your games. They are the most important thing. Let's have more games. Let's have hit games. Thank you for attending Hit Games conference.
Thank you.